There's small town smiles and big secrets, which causes a collective blush to go across America because of what they see on the page and on the screen. I'm Matt Hasquin, and I'm a high school history teacher, and I'm taking you through Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire line by line and lyric by lyric, and we're landing right now on Peyton Place. So when Billy Joel sings Peyton Place, he points to the mid-1950s culture quake that was sparked by Grace Metallis's 1956 novel Peyton Place. It's set in a fictional New England town, and the book kind of, stripped the paint off of the postcard, the Rockwell America, right? Behind the white picket fences were stories of class resentment, sexual hypocrisy, abuse, assault, and abortion. These subjects that were, most mainstream fiction kind of tiptoed around these, but the shock wasn't only in what the book said, it was in how many people read it. Peyton Place became a runaway bestseller. It was the kind of book that was passed around, from our kitchen tables. It may have been hidden under mattresses. Clergy denounced the book. Libraries banned it. And, the scolding only, it sold more copies. The phrase Peyton Place quickly turned into shorthand for a community that looks perfect but whispers everything else. So, as of course, Hollywood moved fast on this one. The 1957 film adaptation drew major stars and multiple Oscar nominations. It kind of sanded some of the edges, but it did leave, the core theme. There was respectability was this costume that usually hid some terrible things behind the scenes. A few years later, television took on the baton here. It's like, hey, we're going to take this one. And Peyton Place was a primetime serial program. And it lasted from 1964 to 1969. And it introduced millions to a new habit, which was tuning in weekly for ongoing adult storylines. It launched young stars, and it made nighttime soap a format. And it proved that serialized drama could live outside the daytime hours. If you trace a line from Peyton Place to later hits about suburban secrets and affluent, angst, the DNA is pretty obvious. So why did a small town scandal story hit so hard in the 1950s? Well, context. Let's look at it here. So post-war prosperity sold this picture of tidy homes and consensus values. And the book said that the surface is very tidy and the people are complicated. It gave readers permission to basically name what wasn't spoken, right? Especially about power. How class and gender let some people break rules, and it forces others, to keep the rules. So, of course, Peyton Place carried its own limits. Some characters are sketched in like mid-century stereotypes, and the handling of trauma reflects kind of this era's blind spots. But as a cultural event, it really kind of cracked the seal. And once you let like the real world messiness into the living room, first in paperback, then, you go to see it on the screen, and then you come back home to see it on television, you don't go back to tidy endings so easily. So tying it back to the song, in 2 words, Billy Joel captures this national moment when kind of this gloss met gossip, and the stories under the surface became the stories that everyone talked about. And the reason why it matters is that Peyton Place explains how mass media normalized, serialized scandal as a form of entertainment, and it pushed American storytelling toward greater honesty about sex and power and harm. It's the bridge from, the 1950s respectability to the confessional tones of later television. If you enjoyed this episode, as we went through, we didn't start the fire. Hey, throw me, a like, a comment, a follow, a share. Any of those things would be fantastic, and I will keep creating more episodes of this, because we're going to go now from Peyton Place to the next lyric, which is Trouble in the Suez. Thanks for watching.